are groping in the midnight dimness of a gigantic department store, and suddenly you realize that you're not alone. But 100 eyes are glaring at you from the shadows, 100 hands reaching for your throat, and your most urgent desire is to escape. We take you now to the dark labyrinth of a giant department store in the dead of night, and to a fantastic world of night dwellers. This is Sadie. She has just returned from shopping at her local department store and is about to make a horrifying discovery.
Sadie, what's the matter? It's me. Oh, Sam, you nearly scared me half to death. I didn't mean to scare you. Oh, Sam, I'm glad you're home. Hey, what's the matter? Oh, it's terrible. It's just terrible. What's terrible? It's this. It's just this.
Well, you're gonna have to tell me what this is all about, sis.
Well, today I went shopping down at the department store. And I needed some paper. So I picked this up. It was on top of the pile, so I bought it, and I brought it home. But tonight, when I open it, I found it's got writing in it.
Well, what's so terrible about that? Just bring it back tomorrow and make him get you a new one.
No, you don't understand. It's what's written in it that's so terrible.
What do you mean what's written in it?
You gotta read it.
Oh, Sadie.
Just read it.
Look, Sadie, I'm tired. I've been pulling all evening.
Sam, please, just read it.
All right, for Pete's sake. October 13th. I've finally made my decision. I've decided to say goodbye to the world and get out. Leave. Break away. Sadie, this is a lot of...
Go on, read it.
Now I am free.
Free.
Really free. Yes.
I
Free
am
at last.
free at last. The world is an intolerable place for a poet. I was broke, starving, at my wit's end. Then I had a brilliant idea. I would escape to a place where I had no need to earn a living, where I could write to my heart's content in peace and security. Where is this place? Right under your nose. So close you never think of it. I am now living in a department store. I have everything within arm's reach that anyone would need or desire, and it's all free. Completely free. I arrived this afternoon. I had spent 3 days looking over all the department stores in town. I decided on this store because of the completeness of their food department. Therefore, this afternoon I entered the store and went immediately to the lower levels and hid myself in this dusty, out-of-the-way corner behind a pile of carpets. Once I'm settled, I'll furnish it with some of the best modern pieces in the furniture department. It's small, but I'll be cozy enough and safe. After the store closed, I made my first venture out. I tiptoed as far as the stationery counter and got this paper, the writer's primary need. After the store closes, I'll go out again and get some food, wine, the pillows for my bed, perhaps a fancy dressing gown. This is perfect. I'll be able to write here. Dawn, October 14th. I'm almost too unnerved to write this. The whole thing is completely unbelievable. After the store was dark and completely quiet, I crept out and started toward the food department. I could have reached out and touched him, but he passed by without so much as a glance. I started to smile, but the smile froze on my lips. There was someone else here. I was looking straight into a pair of eyes. Large, flat, luminous, inhuman eyes peering at me from among the Mrs. Tailored suits a dozen feet away. As pale as a creature found under a stone, hands hanging motionless at the side. It looked more like the fins on a fish than human hands. And then it spoke.
Not bad for a beginner.
I'm sorry, I didn't know anybody else lived here.
Oh, yes, we live here. It's delightful.
We?
Yes, all of us. Don't you see? Look around you.
I looked around. I saw nothing. Then I looked again. I saw them come clamoring out, incredibly emaciated, pale as lace, simpering before the perfume counter. They came swarming, thick around me, pale, thin, wispy, moving silently, fluttering like gauze in the wind, whispering.
How rare she looks!
Oh, where's she?
As coarse as the sun!
What is she doing here?
A detective! Send for the dark men!
Yes, the dog man!
The dark men!
They were pressing around me, clawing, holding me, their pale faces contorted with venomous, inhuman hatred. I was paralyzed. All I could do was repeat over and over again, I'm not a detective! I'm not a detective, I'm not!
Burglar, then!
A burglar! Tie her up!
Hold her! Carry her to the place!
Send for the dark man! Stop! Let her speak.
I'm not a detective or a burglar. I'm a writer, a poet.
Then what are you doing here?
I've renounced the world. I came here to live where I could be alone, away from the world.
Why then, she's come over to us. She's just like us.
She's come over! A poet?
She must meet Mrs. Vanderpant.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Vanderpant! Oh, here she comes now!
What's going on here? Where is that stupid girl? What's keeping her?
Oh, Miss Vanderpant.
Well, what is it? Who is this, Mrs. Roscoe?
Miss Vanderpant, may I present Miss,
Snell. Miss Snell. Miss Charlie Snell.
Yes, of course. Miss Snell. She is a poet and she's come here to live.
Oh, has she? Has she?
That is what she says, and I believe her.
Well,
She avoided the night watchman quite neatly, for a beginner.
Thank you.
very well. We shall see. A poet should find inspiration here.
Miss Snell, Miss Vanderpant is our grand old lady.
Oh, I am quite the oldest inhabitant here, Miss Snell. 3 mergers and a complete rebuilding. But they didn't get rid of me.
Oh, really?
Where is Ella? Where is my broth?
She's bringing it, Miss Vanderpant.
Terrible little creature. She is our foundling, Miss Snell. She's not quite our sort.
Is that so?
I have been here, Miss Snell, since the terrible times of the 80s. This storm, I was a young girl then, a beauty, they say, and poor Pap lost his money. So, when I wasn't able to have a charge account, I came here for good. That's better than a charge account. Of course, I was quite alarmed when the others began to come after the crash of 1907, but it was dear Donna.
Yes.
And Dawn.
How do you do?
Yes.
Mrs. Bilby.
How do you do? Mrs. Bilby.
Mrs. Bilby writes plays.
Oh?
And it comes from an old Philadelphia family. Oh, you'll find us quite nice here, Miss Snell.
I'm sure I will.
And of course, all of our dear young people came in 1929. Their poor papas jumped from skyscrapers. They couldn't bear to be without charge accounts either.
Do you mean that all these people live here?
Oh, and many more. You shall meet them all later.
Oh, here comes that girl with my broth.
Come, you stupid thing!
Miss Vanderpant is waiting.
Yes, ma'am. I was coming as quickly as I could. Here.
Now be careful. Don't spill it.
Oh, but she's young.
Well, of course, she's a little younger than most of us.
And she's different.
Miss Snell, Ella is Miss Vanderpant's maid.
Yes, dear, she's not quite our sort at all.
You shouldn't say such things. She can hear you.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
You'll understand these things better once you've been here a while.
But it seems to me that you...
Miss Snell, we have certain rules here. They are necessary for our survival. I'm sure you will not find them hard to observe.
Well, yes, I appreciate that, but
I should advise that you try. If you do not, Miss Snell, that would be most unfortunate. Most unfortunate for you.
October 15th. You can imagine my feelings last night. My first thought was to escape as quickly as possible. In fact, I planned to wait till morning when the store opened, then quit my hiding place, mingle with the crowds, and leave the store forever. But then, just before dawn, Mrs. Roscoe brought me a cup of coffee, which must have been drugged, for when I woke, I found that I had slept through the day and night was closing over the store once more. Later, I saw Ella again. Ella, the pearl of this remote, fantastic cave. She's different than the others, a tad pale, but otherwise normal. And human. A child of perhaps 18, she's the only thing that makes this nightmare bearable. October 20th. Escape seems almost impossible. There's a very effective burglar alarm system, and the doors are all carefully guarded. But that's nothing compared to the Dark Men. Who are the Dark Men? I don't know, but they threaten any transgressor with these Dark Men. I shall try to discover who they are. At least, I'm sure I am watched, though they've begun to trust me now. Speaking to the night watchman would be suicide, even if he believed my fantastic story or didn't shoot me as a burglar. I'm convinced that neither Ella nor I could get out of here alive. She and the night watchman are the only real people here. And how the others hate the night watchman.
Odious, vulgar creature. He reeks of the horse sun.
Now, Mrs. Bilby, he's a very personable young man. Very young for a night watchman.
Miss Snell, sometimes I do wonder about your taste.
You mustn't stay so much to yourself, Miss Snell. You must become better acquainted with our ways.
Oh, yes, dear. You must come to the play tonight. We're going to be entertained with one of Miss Bilby's tragic comedies, Love in Shadowland. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
I'm sure I will.
It's really a festive occasion, you know. Wanamaker's coming over, you know.
Wanamakers?
Oh, yes. The entire colony over at Wanamaker's is coming over en masse to attend the play.
Do you mean there are people living in other stores as well?
Oh dear, yes, the best people live here. And Wanamaker's.
Oh, come now, Miss Bilby. There are some very nice people over at Alton's.
I beg your pardon, Mrs. Bilby.
Oh, hello, Ella.
Good evening, Miss Snell, Mrs. Bilby.
Well, what is it?
Please, ma'am, I would so love to see your play tonight. May I have your permission?
Certainly not, you stupid thing. You know where you belong, in the basement with the trash cans.
But Mrs. Bilby, can't
Hush,
you
Miss
just...
Snell.
Ella, you're becoming entirely too forward as of late. I'd advise you to watch your step. Remember the Dark Men.
Oh, no, please, Mrs. Roscoe. I'll be good, I promise I will. No, don't send for the dark men. I'm sorry, Mrs. Bilby. Excuse me.
Ella, wait, come back.
Miss Snell, you forget yourself. Let her go.
But why do you always do this? Why do you always frighten her? And what is all this about the Dark Men?
Well, the Dark Men...
Oh, please, not now, Miss Roscoe. You'll ruin the whole evening. Besides, I do so want Miss Snell to enjoy my play.
Yes, very well. Later, Miss Snell.
But I want to know about the Dark Men.
Later.
October 21st. At last, I found an opportunity to speak to Ella alone. Here, one always has a sense of pale eyes secretly watching. But last night at the play, I induced a fit of hiccups. As I anticipated, I was told to go secrete myself in the corner where the night watchman wouldn't hear me. This was exactly what I had planned. There, in the darkness, among the garbage cans and the rats, I heard sobbing. Ella? Ella!
Oh,
Ella,
Ella, is that you?
Yes.
Ella, what's the matter? Why are you crying?
Oh, Miss Snow, I'm so unhappy.
There, you mustn't cry.
You're the only one. The only one who's kind.
Ella, why are you here? Why do they treat you so differently?
Because I'm not like them. I didn't choose to come here.
You mean you're Ella's prisoner?
Yes, you see, I was only 6. I came here on a shopping tour with my mother, and I got lost and fell asleep behind a counter. It was dark when I awoke, and they found me. And some of them wanted to send for the Dark Man because they were afraid I would tell on them. But Mrs. Vanderpant said no. I could stay and be her maid. So I've been here ever since.
Since you were 6. Haven't you ever tried to get away?
Oh no, I don't know anything about out there. I wouldn't know what to do. And besides, I'm afraid. If anyone tries to get out, they send for the Dark Men.
Ella, who are the Dark Men?
Oh, don't you know? It's horrible.
Tell me.
Well, you know how people live at all the stores? Like Gimbel's and Bloomingdale.
Yes, I know.
Well, the Dark Men live at the Undertaker's.
What happens?
And whenever someone dies or breaks the rules, or when a burglar gets in and sees these people and might tell, they send for the Dark Men.
What do?
They put the body in the butcher shop in the food department. And then the Dark Men come. I saw them once. It was terrible.
What happens to them?
They go in where the dead person is. They have wax with them and all sorts of things. And when they're gone, there's just a wax model left on the counter. And then our people put a frock on it or a bathing suit and mix it up with all the other wax models in the windows. And no one ever knows. And if you displease these people, the same thing will happen to you.
October 30th. Riding has been out of the question. Once more, I'm frozen with terror, but not for myself now. For Ella. They hate her. At any time, they might send for the Dark Men. Every night, I wondered what I could do to help her situation. Finally, I thought of a solution. I met her again tonight, and said it. Ella, I want to save you.
Oh, Charlie.
We can live together in my home in the carpet department. No one will hurt you then.
Charlie,
Don't look so dismayed. If you like, we can get transferred him from here. We can go to Bergdorf Goodman's overlooking Central Park.
Don't, Charlie, don't. You mustn't.
Well, there must be something keeping you here, then.
Yes, I'm in love with someone.
With who?
It must be Dawn. He's the only one young enough.
Oh, no, Charlie, not Dawn, especially not him. I do hate them all. They make me shudder.
And who?
It's him,
Who?
the night watchman.
No, impossible.
It was wonderful the way it happened. Oh, don't tell me, Charlie, or they'll punish me.
No.
I was careless, and there he was, coming around the corner. I was caught, but there were other wax models and nothing else to do. I stood still. He stopped and looked at me. Oh, and Charlie, he spoke to me. He said,
Say, honey, I wish they made them like you, back on 8th Avenue.
"Oh, Charlie, wasn't that a lovely thing to say?"
Personally, I should have said Park Avenue.
It doesn't matter what street. It was a lovely thing to say.
But Ella, what can you do about him? He belongs to another world.
Yes, to 8th Avenue. I want to go there. Charlie, are you really my friend?
Yes, of course I am.
Then I'll tell you. I want to stand there again so he'll see me.
And then?
And then perhaps he'll speak to me again.
Well, you're only torturing yourself.
Oh no, because this time I'll answer him and he'll take me away.
Take you away? No, Ella, I couldn't bear that. Ella, you don't love him. You only think you do because you think he'll take you out of here, but you don't know that he will.
Why not?
Because you really belong here. You've become one of them now.
Ella, you mustn't say that.
It's true. And Charlie, we've got to go. There's someone watching us. You can feel it.
Ella, wait.
Goodbye, Charlie.
No, Ella, come back! Ella!
Quiet, dear. You'll arouse the night watchman.
Mrs. Roscoe,
Oh, yes, love can be very upsetting, can't it?
you heard.
Just the last moment or so. Very touching, and yet it's understandable. So, she loves someone. Who could it be? Dawn? Hardly.
No.
Oh, not one of the customers? The staff?
The night watchman. She loves the night watchman. Can you believe it? Oh. I shouldn't have said that. It's not true. At least, I don't think so. Roscoe, you wouldn't do anything? Tell anybody? This is a secret between us. Between friends. Isn't it?
Yes, of course, dear. As secret as the grave.
She's young. Perhaps he'll leave and she'll forget him in time.
Yes, of course. In time.
And we'll find a way to keep her safe. Here.
Absolutely safe. Don't you worry, Miss Snow. Now, it's almost dawn. Time for bed. Good morning, Miss Snow.
November 4th. I was a fool. I should have known she couldn't be trusted. She must have gone straight to Mrs. Vanderpump because this evening the atmosphere has changed. People flicker to and fro, smiling nervously, horribly, with a sort of frightened, sadistic exultation. An informal dance in the record department has been called off. I can't find Ella. I'm going out again now to look for her. Mrs. Roscoe, what have you done with her?
Quiet, dear. The night watchman.
I don't care. What have you done?
Whatever I did was for your own good as well as the good of us all.
Wait a minute. What is that? That's Ella. Ella! Charlie! Please! Charlie! Got me! Charlie! Charlie, stop it! Let go of me!
Charlie, stop! The night watchman!
You're carrying her! You're taking her away! Charlie! To the butcher shop. Mrs. Roscoe.
Yes. Those are the dark men.
Good Lord. Midnight. I'm scribbling this last entry hurriedly. They are in there. In the butcher shop with Ella, the dark men. There's only one thing to do. I'm going to find the night watchman, and I'm going to tell him, and we're going to save her. If we can. And if we are overpowered, well, I will leave this pad on the stationery counter. Tomorrow, if I live, I will recover it. If I do not, whoever finds this, look in the store windows. Look for 3 new wax dummies. 1 man and 2 girls. 1 rather sensitive looking. And the other with long brown hair, brown eyes, and dimples. Look for us. And then find them. Smoke them out. Exterminate them. Avenge us. Oh, Sam, isn't it horrible?
Wow.
Well, we gotta do something. Tell somebody something. Oh, Sam, what'll we do?
Do nothing. Go to bed.
But Sam!
Whoever wrote this has sure got a strange sense of humor. Probably some clerk down at Macy's who ought to be fired.
But you mean you think it's all just a story?
You tell me you don't believe in this stuff, sis.
Well, I don't know.
Snap out of it. Forget it. I shouldn't leave you alone. You get too many ideas when I go out bowling at night.
But don't you think we ought to just take it back and show somebody?
Oh, nuts. It ain't worth the bother. They'll think you were crazy, sis. They'd laugh at you or something.
Yeah. I guess you're right. I guess I was silly.
Forget it. I'm tired. I want to go to bed.
Okay. Okay, Sam. Do you know, for a while there, I sure was scared. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. I found the cutest blouse today, only $19.95.
Yeah, sis?
Yes, it was in the little window at Macy's. It was on a beautiful little wax doll with long brown hair and brown eyes and dimples. And there were two people standing beside.
So in one act, you're not allowed to bow. That's why there's been no bow rehearsal. Let's bow, yeah!